When did sibling rivalry go way too far? My parents believed that only beautiful daughters deserve to eat, so they made my identical twin sister and I compete every day to prove who was prettier. To them, ugly girls were worthless and didn't deserve to live. My parents were obsessed with creating what they called perfect specimens through extreme beauty competitions that started when we were toddlers. Mom was a failed pageant queen and dad was a plastic surgeon who'd lost his license for botched procedures. They believed modern parenting created ugly children who couldn't compete in a world that only valued beauty. Our house was covered in mirrors and scales, with no comfortable furniture because they said comfort made girls fat and lazy. Every surface reflected our faces back at us, constantly reminding us that only one daughter could be beautiful enough to deserve love. When my identical twin sister Gia and I were 10, our parents explained the new rules. Starting tomorrow, you'll earn food, water, and shelter based on who's prettier that day. Mom announced with excitement. The ugly one sleeps outside and goes hungry. Dad added that we'd be weighed, measured, and judged every morning, with the prettier twin getting breakfast while the uglier one watched. They explained that real beauty required suffering and sacrifice, and watching your sister eat while you starved would motivate us to try harder. In the real world, ugly women die alone, Mom said. We're preparing you for reality. Living under this system destroyed us both. Every morning we'd stand naked in front of our parents while they measured our waists, examined our skin, and rated our faces on a scale of 1 to 10. The prettier twin that day got to eat breakfast, use hot water, and sleep in a bed, while the loser got nothing. I refused to sabotage Gia during these competitions, which meant I constantly lost and spent most nights shivering outside while she got the warm house. But Gia learned quickly that making me uglier meant she'd always win. She started putting hair removal cream in my shampoo, ground glass in my face wash, and pins in my shoes to make me limp. Mom and Dad cheered her on, saying, "Finally, someone who understands that beauty is war." I kept trying to help Gia look better at night, sharing my moisturizer and fixing her hair while she slept, hoping to keep some humanity alive in both of us. But the competitions got worse. They'd make us stand in front of mirrors for hours, pointing out each other's flaws, with food as a reward for whoever found the most. I'd lie and say Gia was perfect while she cataloged every imperfection on my body. My parents filmed everything, making us watch the footage while they explained how my weakness would make us both ugly forever. I couldn't watch Gia destroy herself, so I started secretly helping her win every competition. At night, I'd put face masks on her while she slept and fix her hair perfectly for morning inspections. I'd scratch my own face and mess up my appearance so she'd definitely be prettier. During weigh-ins, I'd drink tons of water beforehand to be heavier while slipping her diuretics to make her lighter. For 3 weeks, Gia won every single day. She got to eat every meal, sleep in the warm bed, and our parents praised her dedication to beauty. "Finally, you're becoming a winner," Mom told her proudly. I thought I was saving her by taking all the punishment myself. I slept outside every night, went hungry every day, but told myself it was worth it because Gia was thriving. My parents even seemed happy, believing their system was finally working. I felt like I'd outsmarted them, found a way to protect my sister while giving them the competition they wanted. But they'd installed hidden cameras to monitor our beauty progress, and they discovered everything. They were furious that I'd been corrupting Gia's competitive spirit. "You think you're helping her, but you're making her weak," Dad screamed. They locked me in the basement for 3 days without food or mirrors while forcing Gia to compete against neighborhood girls. When I emerged, Gia was skeletal from crash dieting and looked at me with pure hatred. "I could have been beautiful if you hadn't made me weak," she spat. My parents announced that since I'd contaminated their system, they'd make an example of me. They scheduled a public beauty competition with all the neighborhood families where the ugliest girl would have her head shaved on stage. "Everyone needs to see what happens to girls who refuse to compete," Mom said. They spent 2 days forcibly grooming me while I screamed, plucking and waxing and bleaching to make sure I'd lose. On competition day, my parents proudly demonstrated their system to the gathered families, making Gia and me stand on scales while they measured our bodies and compared our faces. They explained their philosophy about ugly girls deserving to starve, but the other parents weren't impressed. They were horrified. One mother called 911 while Dad was showing off his charts tracking our measurements since birth. Police arrested them both as they screamed about creating perfect specimens. Gia and I were separated into different foster homes. I'm 18 now and haven't seen her since. Sometimes I catch myself checking mirrors, wondering if I'm pretty enough to deserve dinner.